My first guest tonight is Gary Johns, whose new book, The Burden of Culture, is a hand grenade lobbed at the self-interested inner-city elitists cashing in on the $40 billion Aboriginal industry. Indeed, the book's subtitle is How to Dismantle the Aboriginal Industry and Give Hope to Its Victims. Johns is very clear that it is the people who have the ear of government, not white Australia, who are to blame for the appalling, often third world conditions in which some Indigenous people live. Johns is a former Labor politician elected for the Queensland seat of Petrie in 1987 under the Bob Hawke government, rising to Special Minister of State under Paul Keating in 93 and losing Petrie in the John Howard coalition landslide of 96. He immediately became disenchanted with Labor, but not his principles of a fair go for all Australians. He became a senior fellow at the Institute of Public Affairs in 1997, a centre-right think tank, and then had various consulting and academic positions. He was president of the Bennelong Society, which tried to counter the misconceptions about black and white relations in Australia and sought practical solutions for Indigenous problems. The Bennelong Society only survived for 10 years before being wound up in 2011. But the industry it opposed, the Aboriginal industry, has since gone from strength to strength. Johns was awarded a PhD for political science in 2001, and in 2017, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull's government appointed him Commissioner of the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profit Commission. He's written 9 books since 2001, and as I said, the latest is quite the hand grenade. I'm pleased to say he joins me now. Gary, welcome.
Thanks indeed, Fred.
First, Gary, you make it very clear in the book that the Aboriginal industry, not white racism, is to blame for Aboriginal deprivation and disadvantage. What does the Aboriginal industry actually offer Indigenous people?
It offers themselves a premier place at the table with prime ministers and premiers. It offers Aboriginal people who haven't escaped from the worst aspects of their culture nothing, absolutely nothing. So, look, the thesis is quite simple. About 80% of Aboriginal people are doing about as well as every other Australian. So they haven't read the script, they've got on with life, they've adapted to the modern world, they are integrated. What their private beliefs are, etc., are none of my business. This is about public policy. But the last, let's say 20%, who are more likely to look like Aboriginal, live under more or less traditional culture, and certainly be in remote places, discrete Aboriginal communities, are dying. They're in desperate trouble, but they, of course, are the poster children of the industry. They need those faces and that sort of reference to culture and dance and all the rest of it. But that's not a life.